What's up, YouTube? I promised a update video after I saw the surgeon today, so here it is. And I'll try not to rant too bad, but I am so freaking pissed right now. It's just like those moments where you're just shaking because you're so mad. You just want to smash everything and curse out of your mind. So here's what happens to me. So I had this appointment. Well, backstory. I wanted to schedule, and I'm in the Las Vegas area. I wanted to schedule an appointment to see this Dr. Andrew Bronstein. For any of you guys that are watching this and you live out here, he seemed like he knew what he was doing. Seemed like a doctor that had good experience. So I call the number and I say, hey, I'd like to see Dr. Bronstein. They say, oh, okay. Next available I have is like November 25th, and this was like, today's the 5th. This was 2 or 3 weeks ago. So I'm like, oh man, because I'm trying to get a consensus on what kind of surgery I need. At this point, I've only seen two hand surgeons. I've seen a bunch of orthopedic surgeons, and hand surgeons I've figured out where I need to be. And they had differing opinions, so I was kind of trying to see what this guy would be the tiebreaker. But then again, as I've told you before, they're just going to recommend whatever it is they do. But really, I was going to try to push for ultrasound or dynamic MRI to see how much subluxation is going on. And I'll get to that later. I'll show you guys a useful exercise to try to gauge your own subluxation. Anyway, so she goes, well, Dr. Cam deals with this thing too. Maybe I can have you see him. And I was like, really, Bronstein seemed to be more or less the guy that specialized in this. And she goes, well, I can get you in to see Dr. Cam on the 5th. So I go, you know what, fuck it. I'll just go in, I'll see this guy, maybe I get the MRI or whatever. So I booked the appointment, and then a couple, as I'm thinking throughout the day, I'm like, I should have just kept the appointment with the other guy so I could have got both opinions. And, what if I want to get that guy's opinion later? By the time I see that guy, it's going to be like December or whatever by the time I can see him. So I called back and I said, hey, I just spoke to you a little bit ago and I made the appointment to see Dr. Cam. I wanted to go ahead and book that appointment on the 25th for Dr. Bronstein. This is literally verbatim what this lady said to me. She says, no, you're seeing Dr. Cam. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you're just going to tell me who I'm going to see? And I said, well, okay, but I'm kind of worried that, if she says, if you need to get a second opinion, we can make the appointment then. I said, well, by that time, I'm going to be even further out than that. She goes, no, we have another scheduling system for the follow-ups. So help me God when I go in there finally, because I was just there. I'll get to why I'm going in again in a minute. And they tell me that if I want to see Dr. Bronstein, I have to go back on November 26th even. I will flip the fuck out. So anyway, I go over there today, and I live in the Henderson area, and they're in Summerlin. And for those of you out here, it's like 21, 22 miles I have to drive. I have to take time out of my day. It's not exactly convenient, They have a satellite office over here I tried to make an appointment at, but they only make the one for the Summerlin office for me. No, you got to go over there. So I don't know what they use this one over here for, or maybe he doesn't come over here. I don't know. Anyway, I'm sitting in the waiting room. I give her my stuff, and I can tell the receptionist that I meet with when I walk in today is the same one that had the bitchy attitude on the phone. So I'm just trying to be nice. And, I fill out all the stuff. I give her all my notes. As you guys know, I roll deep. I got all my notes. And they tell you to do that. Most places won't see you unless you have your imaging and your notes and whatnot, So I give her all my notes, and not only does she freaking mix it all up, so now I got to go freaking figure it out again and staple it all together, which drives me nuts. It's like, you're taking it apart. Have some professional courtesy and keep the shit together from where it came. It's like imaging results, this doctor's results. Keep it separate. I gave it to you separate. Don't give it back to me like you mix it around on the floor like a fucking child. So I fill out the stuff. I give her the notes and she goes, oh, this is a lot of notes. We might have to reschedule so he has time to go over the notes. And I'm like, what? And she goes, yeah, I'll talk to him. I'll see what he wants to do. And I said, well, it's nothing. There's nothing really in the notes that's going to tell you all that much. I said, in 5 minutes, I can communicate everything and more than what's in those notes. So don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. And I sit down and I'm just like, if this lady tells me I have to come back, I'm going to flip out. And I'm already pissed, but I'm trying to, just be like, think positive. So I see the doctor come up to her and I see them talking and I'm like, they're to the side of me and I'm kind of listening and I hear him go, she goes, well, here's his notes. Do you want me to reschedule it so you have time to look at it? I mean, or, you just want to meet with them? And he goes, yeah, maybe we better. I mean, given, the current, or given where we're at right now, as he looks out into the waiting room and there's like 15 people sitting around for God knows how long. I've looked at the reviews online and people are saying they had to wait an hour or 2 hours to see the guy. And if my arms weren't so fucked up, I would go write a review on Yelp ripping this shit up, but maybe I'll do that later on Dragon. It'll just piss me off more. So she calls me up and I know what's coming. And she says, yeah, we're going to have to make an appointment to reschedule. Anytime we have this many notes, it's an automatic reschedule. And I said, okay, fine. And I'm trying to hold it together. And then it's just boiling up in me because I'm so pissed off at this lady because she's just got such a bitchy demeanor. It's like, if you're going to work with people, don't be a bitch. Like, what the fuck? Like, why do you choose a job in which you interact with people all day long but choose to be a total bitch about it the whole time? It's like, go do something where you're back in a warehouse and no one's, I swear Vegas has had some of the worst receptionists I have ever dealt with. I never had these problems in Southern California. It's insane. They're totally underqualified. They don't know what they're doing and they just got a freaking attitude to boot. It's like, I'm dealing with this crap for 5 years. You got people coming in pain and they're suffering. Have some freaking sympathy, man. Like, show some respect. Like, treat them with, like, be courteous. Be nice to them. And you know what? We'll be nice back. But if you're a bitch to us, it's like, I'm going to be an asshole back to you. And I should have been more of one, but I wasn't. And it's just like, I don't want to go to jail breaking everything in the freaking office. Anyway, so she's, we can get you in as early as Monday. Like, I just drove fucking 22 miles. Like, I just want to do that all the time, take time out of my day and just do this, And, they make you sign these policies that say, like, oh, if you miss an appointment, it's $50 or whatever. It's like, where's my fucking money for the gas? Where's my $50 for missing my appointment? Such bullshit. They just used that as an excuse to thin out the queue so they didn't have such a wait time in the office. It was obvious. That guy's not going to look at my shit until 10 minutes before I see him on Monday. I can guarantee you that. There's no freaking way he's looking at that over the weekend. No way. So as she's booking the appointment, I say, a little bit ago, you told me that anytime you have this many notes, it's an automatic reschedule. I said, if this is something that happens typically, like you're saying, tell people, ask them on the phone when they book the appointment, do you have extensive notes on this? If so, I'd recommend that you share them with the doctor or send them to the office prior to meeting with him so that he has time to review them. That's all you have to say. And I said that, and I said, that way you can save somebody, the time, having them take the time out of their day to come over here and then having to take the time to come back again, It's just disrespectful. You're not respecting your patient's time. You don't give a crap. If this is happening normally and this is something you do, it's like, just ask them for notes. And she says, well, I didn't know how much notes you had. I'm like, that's why I'm telling you to start asking people. You fucking idiot. Like, what is so hard about that? And that's why I said to her, I didn't curse at her or whatever. I said, that's why I'm telling you to start asking people. It's not hard. Just ask if they have extensive notes. If you do, send them in prior to seeing the doctor. It's not hard. Jeez, what the hell? So anyway, I have to go back on Monday morning, which will be fun because it's like at 8:40 or something, so I'll be in rush hour and stuff. But actually, I think my wife has off on Monday, so maybe she can come and make sure I don't lose my shit because if this lady gets an attitude with me again, so help me God. I'm thinking about printing out, like I said, printing out a thing of my gas mileage and just handing it to them when they hand me the bill, just say, oh, here you go, here's my bill. Anyway, I had some stuff I wanted to tell you guys that I was going to share with you right now. And I was hoping to have some news from the surgeon and stuff, but not. But anyway, I wanted to show you how I think you can kind of detect if you have subluxation or not. So if you look here, let me, you know what? Let me turn on some lights in here. Get some more light for you guys so we can try to do this properly. Okay, now, let's see. Now, let me get something to prop up. I'm using my iPad. I don't know how to do it fancy like other people have fancy cameras or whatever, but this is all I got, so sorry. Anyway, that's a little better. So, obviously, here's your medial epicondyle. Your ulnar nerve goes through here in the cubital tunnel. They're saying when you bend your arm, does something like come over? Now, if you see, man, I wish it still kind of shaded. Let me try this for you guys. Let's see. Is that better? It's a little better, I guess. Fuck, I don't know. Serenity now. Okay, I'm just going to stick here, guys. Sorry. Well, hold on. I'll turn on the ceiling light right here. That's about as much light as I can get in here today. It's cloudy and it's getting late. Anyway, okay, there we go. Your ulnar nerve. Now, when I bend mine, I don't really see much going on. I don't see anything rolling over necessarily. Now, I put my finger here too, and I feel something pushing against it right here. Like right there. You can see my bone. See, there's something there, right? You see that? Kind of running there. So I'm pretty sure that's my ulnar nerve. I was going to ask the doctor that today, but I guess I'll have to wait another time. But I have figured out a stretch that's a nerve gliding exercise that makes mine subluxate almost every time. And funny enough, I did it with my wife, and it subluxate on her too. So what you're supposed to do is put your arms out like this, and I'll just show you on this arm so it fits in the camera. So you want to get it all the way out to your side, because I've noticed if it's not really out to my side like this, and right here it won't work. So out to your side, flex your fingers up like this, and take your fingers and touch your shoulder. And feel what happens at your elbow. In fact, I can see this happen when I go in and I go into the bathroom, I look in the mirror, I can see it. I'll get closer so you guys can see it too. So I got some recycled boxes I got to throw out. Here we go. So I go up like this. Now see, that time I didn't feel it. Flex up, touch your shoulder. I don't feel it in my right. Sometimes it does it, sometimes it doesn't. Let me see on the left. You guys can see that better. So you want to get out here, flex the fingers up, and come touch your shoulders. Oh, there I can totally feel something snap over. Oh, yep. Okay, now, here we go. So I'll get right up in here for you guys. Let's try this. It's hard because it's shaded right here. I don't know if you guys are going to see it. I'll try one right here. Now watch the bone right here. You're going to see something snap over it. There it goes, see? And then just snap back over. I'll do it one more time. There, right here. I'm pretty sure that's my ulnar nerve. And you can't see the bony thing because it's right here and it's over the top. There, it just flipped over the other side. So try that stretch. If that does it, then you probably have subluxation. But again, it's weird because look, if I do this, like this is how they'll test you at the doctors. They'll just have you bend your arm like this, and then they'll just put their hand here and they'll go, And mine don't really come over. It just kind of pops out, you know, or it feels like it's pushing around the side. It's starting to come around the side, more so towards like right here than in the front. So I don't know. Try that, guys. That might help you know if you have subluxation, if you don't. So if you're having these problems and you do any bending like that and you feel something popping over there, or you do the stretch I showed you and you feel it popping, odds are you have subluxation to some degree. What I'm trying to figure out now is, you know, is that, I don't seem to have it that bad, the subluxation. I worked out today and I didn't have any pain in my elbow while I was doing my workout today. It's not like when I just did that. I'm sure some people would do that and they'd be in a lot of pain flipping back and forth. But it doesn't really irritate me so much now. Later it might hurt. But, the things that irritate me is I was brushing my teeth before the doctor's office. My elbow started to hurt because my arm is held like that. It's more or less if I hold it like that, or if I'm typing like that, or playing guitar. I played guitar the other day, and that was a bad idea. But you just want to feel sane. But try that. But see, here's why it's important. The one doctor I met with, I think I told you about this, does an endoscopic cubital tunnel release, and I've been doing a lot of reading on it. And for the people that can do it, that don't have subluxation, it is a great option. I've read a lot of studies that say the decompression results are just as good, if not better, than the transposition if you don't have subluxation. So I kind of fall into a gray zone. Most doctors, I think, would consider that I have subluxation. But my thing is like, what I really want to know is, what if I tried to do that, the endoscopic decompression? Is it going to subluxate more or less? I mean, most doctors, I think, say it's going to do it more or keep doing it the same and cause symptoms. So that's why they would want to do the transposition. But, again, I just said, it's popping over the thing. It's not really causing me problems. So maybe for me, that's not an issue. Maybe it's the compression. I don't know. And it's so hard to know. And they don't know. So that's why I'm trying to get like a dynamic MRI or an ultrasound to at least see what's going on in my elbow. Maybe when I'm bending it like this, it is popping out and it's contributing to it more than I think. I think for some people that have compression, then they can actually read it on their nerve conduction test. They can probably show where it's being compressed. They'd be better candidates for the endoscopic cubital tunnel release. The thing that I don't understand is this. The guy that I met with that wanted to do the transposition says, well, I don't skimp on the scar. He says, I start here, I go all the way up here, and basically they do that so they can decompress all these areas, and then they move the nerve. He was very cavalier about, I just put the nerve there. I don't use anything to hold it in. You got enough fat there, blah, blah, blah. But the endoscopic thing, they only make a small incision right here, and then they use a tool to go in like this, and then it clears it up, and then they put another tool in here that clears it up. So you really only have, it's just a carpal tunnel surgery. You got an incision like that. It's literally the same tool. What I don't understand is, and actually this morning I finally found an article, and I think maybe they're just starting to explore this, something called endoscopic transposition surgery. Why they've been doing it the same way for this long, I have no idea. It's just, I don't get it. We have so many advancements at everything. And this is the same way surgery's been done since like the 50s. This guy discovered it in 56 or something, diagnosing himself. And they've been doing this transposition since then. I mean, it's insane that we haven't figured out a better way. There's subtle variations on, it's always used to be submuscularly, then it's subcutaneous and whatnot. But what I thought was, and this I think is what they're starting to do, is why not use the endoscope to decompress here, and then use a smaller incision, maybe only like this, to transpose the nerve, because you don't need to move it far. It only goes from here to here. They're not putting it over here on your arm, So you guys, like when they do the transposition, it's only like right here. They don't move it super far. It's not running down the front of your arm or something. They just flip it on the other side of your medial epicondyle bone. So that seems to me you'd have a lot better results. And I've seen people on YouTube that have had the transposition surgery where they've had a small incision like that. So I don't know, maybe they did it that way on them, because it's not necessary to have that long incision. It's just not. They don't want to use the endoscope to do the other stuff, but you don't need to slice somebody up like that. And the stupid thing about that is, for a lot of people, that heals up that scar tissue, and that creates new problems, Depending on where they make that incision, some people make it closer to where they put the new nerve, and then it causes irritation. I mean, I have no confidence in these freaking surgeons. Like, it's just insane, and I'm not against driving back to Southern California to try to find somebody. Anybody watching this from Southern California that's had good surgery results, whether it be endoscopic decompression or transmission, let me know. Put it in the comments. Recommend a guy, because there's just so many to choose from. It's freaking overwhelming. trying to go through it. And it's like, just because somebody pops up in the web search doesn't mean they're the best, just means they have a good, SEO guy. So, that's my update. It's aggravating as crap. This has helped me get over it, having to go back Monday, but I don't know, guys. I really hope that some of you guys can help diagnose some of your problems and pinpoint what exactly is causing the irritation, whether it's something subluxating and that's where you feel the pain and numbness, or if it's compression. I mean, I really think for me personally, the primary cause of numbness a lot of times is compression. If I sit down and type, it's that, but I don't know. It could be because the nerves been irritated from all the bending. Bend your arm throughout your daily life. Can't go through the day like this. So I don't know. I wish I had better news and more positive stuff to say rather than that rant. But I don't. So stay tuned for next week. On Monday, I'll get the real results, and we'll see what this guy says, see if it's worth the second trip back. Hopefully I can get the dynamic MRI or ultrasound or whatever, so I can really get an idea of what's subluxating and how much and how unstable it is, because really what I want to know is, can I do the endoscopic release? Can I try it? If I do and then I have to have the transposition, is that bad that they have to go and do it again? Is it going to create problems when the guy goes back to do the transposition? Or if I have it, is it going to make my my nerve subluxate more? I don't know if they can answer any of those questions, but I'm hoping at least having some imaging to shed some light on it. I got MRIs of my arm like this, which most of you probably have this, but the last doctor I had that did that wanted me to have another one with it bent. So again, it might not even show that it's popping out all that much if it's just like this, like I showed you. I got to kind of do that stretch with the palms and whatever to get it to really go, and then it only does it in the left. And ironically, my left is the one that only started bothering me last year. I've had this one bothering me for 5 years now. So funny that one doesn't subluxate as much. It kind of makes me think that my underlying problem is compression, and I just happen to have subluxation. But again, I had my wife do this stretch, and one of her arms too, I think her left arm had the thing. So guys, do that stretch. We'll do a little survey here. Do that stretch. Let me know if you feel that nerve or whatever it is popping over that bone or not, and we'll try to help ourselves to a solution, man. Take care, guys. I really hope that you find any of this helpful, or knowing that you're not alone. There's a lot of people dealing with this out here. Unfortunately, there's just not a lot of information out there to help us. So we got to do our best to help ourselves. So anyway, till Monday, take care. Aloha.